Good morning. Today is a new video from the Pack Scouts where the focus is on a slightly more cerebral term. I know a lot of the work I've been doing has been on specific topics or areas, but this one is on caring, the importance of actually being responsible and following through. So if you look at the screen, we got the topic is start caring. And the reason for this particular topic was that two of my key projects last year involved my favorite things, which are learning from experts in the packaging industry and being able to understand and share that expertise and experience through global reports and research and other ways of being able to communicate the knowledge in a way that it's received best by the people who are the audience for it. So asking why and so what are crucial when you try to understand anything. So certainly for myself, I learn through experience, and I learn by leaning on those who've gone before me, telling me what they've found up the road from me. So the topic for last year, and it will be for many years to come, is future of sustainable packaging, which is one that's everywhere at the moment. You can't go into or identify with any key theory or leadership without somebody mentioning sustainability at some point in it. So there's many articles, there's many opinions, there's many perspectives that have been published and shared. So the first of the main questions, so what, who cares, why does it matter? And the key thing is that in these discussions about sustainability, one of the main themes is one of disconnection. There's a huge disconnect in the narrative of achieving sustainable packaging, in the communication to consumers about what sustainability means, both to the company that is talking about it and to them as the consumers, how they can be part of that sustainability story. And there's a resistance and mistrust that has been going on for the last sort of 8 or 9 years, where the consumers see a turtle wrapped in plastic on the TV. There's a response, there's a massive negative response and pressure to change. The manufacturers all declare that they're going to change the problem, and each one is going to outdo the other one. So one is going to do it in 5 years, and 4 years, and 3 years, and 2 years, and so on. There's a surge of activity in sustainable packaging materials that are reaching the market. But some companies, they're a little bit reticent as the costs are enormous to change materials. And the blue chip global leaders have got the size and the scale to be able to kind of push things forward. So there is a groundswell of intent behind trying to change this. We have recyclable materials or reusable or returnable packaging, and we're working on raising the recycled content within packaging. And that's been what's been happening for the last few years. So there's been this kind of leaning back into that narrative saying, you know, see, we're trying to solve the problem. The problem is that that's not an accurate picture of what's happening at the moment, because we get told as consumers, oh, we'll recycle it, we'll reuse it, we'll refill it. But when you start understanding that the numbers that are even being recycled are 20%, 25%, 30% maximum of all of the waste that's been created, you get a sense of how much further we have to go. Recycling is not going to be the way that we solve the problem. So in the US, just over a quarter of recyclable materials are actually recycled. So those are the things that are specifically designed to be recycled. 75, 76% of them are not even being recycled. So it's just waste. Of the remaining 3/4 that is not being put back into the correct waste stream, it's overwhelmingly coming from our households, where we're not putting it into the correct stream. And we're not doing that because we don't have access, we don't have the information, we don't have the knowledge. There's a number of different reasons behind it. It's not just consumer apathy, but that is a pretty large part about it. because we as consumers don't put the right material into the right waste stream, it can't be recycled. So the whole process is undone. Classic quote, which I particularly love here, but if not me, then who? And if not now, then when? So there's a very famous quote that is overused and also misreferenced. It's Rita Mae Brown, who wrote Insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again, but expecting different results. So the effort and the resources and the intention crashes against this apathy and recedes. So we have this constant issue where we have great intentions, but we're not quite delivering against them. So multiple research and development leaders have stated that they have the technology today to make plastic 100% recyclable, reusable, or compostable, but it only works if the consumers put it in the right stream. It also only works if we're willing to absorb some of the costs, which of course as consumers we're not. If I litter something, so if I take the good work of whichever brand has made a 100% recyclable or refillable package and I throw it into the ground after I've used it, that undoes the possibility of that product being able to deliver against its reusable, refillable, recyclable mandate. There's no chance if I put it into the wrong stream that it's going to get into the right stream by magic elves or some other form of witchcraft. The problem is that we are constantly waiting for the next person along to take responsibility. So we can't blame the manufacturers if our actions are what causes the mess. Equally, the manufacturers can't blame us if there is no way that we can understand how to best dispose of their products. So it's a bit of both fault. It takes two to tango. But what both parties need to do is start working towards getting towards each other rather than this kind of finger pointing. It's not a simple solve. Changing habits and motivation requires everyone's participation, everybody's willingness. You can't make somebody learn something or do something if they have no intention of doing it. So we have to, first of all, have the actual desire to change, and then we have to have the knowledge and information and access that allows us to be able to actually put things into the correct bin or stream them properly, or to take the steps that we need to take in order to raise recycling, reuse, refill methods that will get us towards a circular economy. Regularly, what happens is we are time and time again having conversations with the senior leadership in the packaging companies where when I ask what would be the kind of magic wand, simple solve to sustainability today, the major response is get the consumers to care. Because there's a bit of a cloak of invisibility that occurs when you've got such a mass number of people worldwide, where you can kind of hide behind the numbers a bit. Because if I decide that it's probably okay because my neighbor next door is going to balance out my inaction with their action, and then my neighbor next door is thinking the same thing, their neighbor and their neighbor and their neighbor, so on, what you have is this kind of cascading inertia that means that actually nobody's doing anything. So it just takes everybody to do a little bit and start to course correct that, and then you'll start to see some results. It has a greater impact on the technology, on the improvement of materials and pricing and regulatory factors, because these are continuously examined as the main levers to achieve sustainable packaging. But the thing is that if we don't care, if we don't put something into the correct stream, it doesn't matter how wonderful the material is. It doesn't matter how expensive it is or how well refined or managed or operated or produced or anything it is, because we've just completely undone all of that good work. So no matter what victory we might be able to achieve by driving the cost down, by improving recyclability facilities or deposit return schemes or refill or reuse, etc., we will always be losing the overall activity unless we can close this gap and get people to have that access, have that information so that they're able to make that right choice. So the good news is that behavior can change. You need to remove the obstacles that stop people being able to fulfill their good intentions. Accurate labeling, messaging, not greenwashing by saying something can be recycled if there isn't the capabilities in the local area to do that. All of these are simple tools that need to just be mandated or just used as a kind of a common sense guideline, because if it's possible to actually understand where each piece of material can go in my waste stream and know that if I put it into there, it will get to the right place, which at the moment, unfortunately, is not 100% guaranteed, depending on where you are and what waste stream that might be. But if there can start to be a bit more confidence that if I put it into the blue bin, green bin, yellow bin, whichever one it is, it will get to where it needs to go. And if it gets to where it needs to go, it will remain in the manufacturing cycle. And if it remains in the manufacturing cycle, all of these major issues like excessive emissions, waste, material cost, all of that will start to go down. I hope you've enjoyed this. If you've got any questions, if you've got any comments, if you want to subscribe to the videos, please reach out, and always welcome any questions or emails. And in the meantime, I hope everybody has a wonderful day, and I'm looking forward to seeing you on the next video.